Hello students, welcome back to Digital Media Production. Today we're going to start messing with some colors. So in order to demonstrate this, I've picked a scene from one of my favorite movies. This is a scene from the movie La La Land, and the colors here are obviously very vibrant. And one of the things that we can do here is in Pixlr, we can edit the colors. So just want to talk about a couple little spots here. We can do hue and saturation is one that's very powerful here. So hue is what we would normally call color, but color or hue, saturation, and lightness are all parts of color. So the hue is actually the tint of the color, and you can see if I just mess with this slider here, it starts changing the colors of the picture. So this is fun to play with if you want to mess up your picture really quickly and just get a fun effect here. I'm gonna go ahead and, before I click cancel, I want to point out that here's the compare button, and if you hold down this button, it will show you what the original was. So that was the original, and then I release it and it'll let me see what the changes in between. I'm gonna click cancel because I don't actually want it to look like that. Let me go back to that menu. Now saturation is how much color is in the picture. So think of the picture as a sponge. The saturation would be how much color that sponge is holding. So if I turn up the saturation, it's just gonna kind of fill this up to where the picture is just dripping with color. And I'm gonna go ahead and use this compare button again so I can see the difference. So you can see the colors are a lot brighter. It's not necessarily a good thing, but if you have a picture where the colors aren't as bright as you would like, you can crank this up a little bit to get an effect that you want. And on the other side, we can turn this all the way down to remove all of the color and make a black and white photo. I'm just gonna put that back to where it was. Now the lightness kind of speaks for itself. I can just turn this all the way down and that makes it darker, or I can turn it up and make it brighter. Now this can be used if you took a photo that is a little dark and you just want to lighten it up a little bit to make some of those details show up. You can use it for that. We'll come back to this in a minute, but before I do, I just want to point out that there is this really handy tool here. This tool right here is the color replace tool. So in order to use the color replace tool, what I want to do is first pick the color that I want something to turn into. So I'm going to use this eyedropper right here. And really what I want is Emma Stone's dress right here. I want it to be this red. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this red right here. And then I will use the color replace tool, and I can mess with the brush size here. So I'm actually going to make this a lot bigger just to prove a point. And then I can go through here and just start changing the color of her dress. And so what that's doing is it looks at the color that I selected, the color that I started on, and it starts changing any of that color into the color that I selected. Now, one of the things that you might notice, I've just got the mouse button held down and I'm moving around, is that it's changing this color too. So this wall color is lighter than the blue on her dress, and you can see over here on her shirt that it changed some of the color but not all of it. So I'm just going to go ahead and undo that, because this color on her shirt is not the same color on her dress. And what Pixlr is doing here is it's trying to be smart and trying to figure out what I want from it. So what I can do here is go to the tolerance, and right now its tolerance is set at 42. So it's not going to stick just to the color that I started on. It's also going to tolerate some colors that are kind of close. So in this case, I want to turn that tolerance down, maybe about 20. And so now when I do it, it's going to do this. And you see off to the side on this wall that still is taking it, but not all the way. But her shirt is different enough that, okay, it picked up a little bit. So I'm going to push Control Z to undo that. And then really what I want to do is just go through here and just be a little bit more careful not to go onto the wall here. Oh, I did it anyways. That's okay for this demonstration. What I would do if I were you is use a smaller brush, be a little bit more careful, or you could turn the tolerance down even further to see if that helps. See, and now the tolerance is too low, so I've got these little splotches in there. Okay, so I'm gonna push Control Z to undo that, and then I'm just gonna do a quick job right here. Turn the tolerance up, and let's change her dress color, and we're gonna get the wall a little bit. For this demonstration, that's not a big deal. Okay, now, one other thing, you see this line right here. This line right here is a result of me starting a second color swap. So I can go in here and just try to clean that up, or I can go and just undo it all and just make sure that I do it all in one shot, like this. Okay, so now again, I got a little bit on the wall right there, and if this were a project that I were taking very seriously, I would go and make sure to clean that up. But for today's demonstration, this is okay. Now, another thing that is fun to do is to take the color out of an image and then make one item stand out. So this is called a color pop. So the way that I do this is I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this layer. And now I've got the background, and I want the background to be black and white. So I'm going to take this layer, I'm going to go to adjustment, hue and saturation. I'm just going to turn that saturation all the way down so I have a black and white photo. However, I've got the copy on top of it. So before I go any further, I'm just going to name this black and white. And then on top of it, I have the color. Now, in order for me to make it so, let's just make Emma Stone right here be in color, and let's make everybody else be black and white. I'm just going to start erasing the background layer. So I'm going to crank up the size of my eraser here. And I'm just going to erase. Now make sure that you're on the correct layer before you start erasing. I'm just going to start erasing the color image so we can see the black and white image in the background. And since they're lined up right on top of each other, it looks like I'm just removing all of the color. Okay, so now at this point, this is a matter of cleaning stuff up, so I'm just going to shrink down my eraser, and then I'll zoom in and I'll start erasing and cleaning stuff up. And this is the point where the time comes in, and you're going to spend a lot of time doing a good job getting this nice and clean. Okay, so the rest of the concepts we've gone over, I would go through here and clean that up. And then make sure you merge down, flatten the image, and publish your finished product.